Hi, welcome back. Today's episode is on maps. Hey, it's Annika, and today's episode on maps is about things that I've used in my personal classroom. So being a social studies teacher, I always love to come up with great ideas on how to make it more interactive. You know, history and geography can be very abstract ideas for our students. So anytime I can make connections for them to remember the information, for them to understand what that information means, I do. So one of the things I'd like to point out is that this was just a cheap map that I could use for my example. However, I would recommend that you try to find or make a map that does not have the lines, the boundaries, the words, so that students can do more with this activity. I went a little old school and I used a projector onto the large butcher paper and I traced out the continent of Europe. This was the first one we did. It's actually half of our school year, so that's why I spent the time to do this one. So what I did was I traced it out on green and then I taped it over blue. Then I went back to my media specialist, who was a genius in figuring out how to laminate this huge map. It was floor to ceiling, it was about this wide, and it was in my trailer. So here's her tip. This is what she did. She folded it in half and ran it through. She cut it, flipped it the other way, and then ran it through again, and then it was laminated on both sides. This thing lasted forever. And so this is the way I would recommend for you guys to do it too. By doing a blank map like that, it gave students the opportunity to mark the country lines. And as we know, when we're talking about world history, you know, those lines change quite often. And so the globes and the current maps that you might have in your textbook are not going to be as accurate as the students doing them themselves. So that's one of the things you can do for the political map, is letting them draw the lines, letting them label the countries. But the other thing that you can do with this is physical features map, as well as a natural resources map. So one of the things I let students do is create their own legends, and they make their symbols for the different things, whether we're talking physical features, whether we're talking, you know, natural resources, and let them put their legend on the map. And those students create their actual symbols and they tape them where they belong on the map, so that you can take those out, they can interact with it, they can move things around. I really liked doing that with the students, and my students loved being able to make their own map. So another thing that we taught about in world studies was exploration, and you can find these kinds of things at the dollar store where you have colored twine, or you can use this kind of regular ribbon. I kind of like the twine idea better because this ribbon tears after a while, but letting them use color-coded twine or ribbon allows them the opportunity to show where the explorers started, ended, where their actual route went, and letting them interact with that material as opposed to just drawing it onto a piece of paper. If you do this activity or tweak it for your unique classroom, please share in the comments below. And as always, if you like it, make sure you hit the like button, that you subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.